And we're going to be talking a little bit about stretching flexibility today. And we're going to be going through just a little bit of understanding about how we can be able to go and help become more flexible more easily to where you don't have to go and spend hours and hours in yoga classes or spend an inordinate amount of time stretching all the time. So one of the things that we want to be able to go and help realize is that when you go and stretch, or if you're having problems becoming more flexible, one of the number one things I want to make sure that we realize is that the function of our joints, whether it's our knee joint or our hip joint or our low back or what have you, they are dependent upon the function of other joints going up the kinetic chain. So one of the things that we have to be able to realize is, as a CHEK practitioner, what I first start to analyze is if a person is struggling with flexibility in their back or other different joints down below, what we want to be able to take a look at is what's going on at the neck, the head, the jaw, and other different more important survival functions. As a CHEK practitioner, this is what's called the survival totem pole. So at the top of the totem pole, you have the more important basic survival functions. And as you work your way down, the bottom part of the totem pole is what we call slave joints, meaning that they are slaves to the other different more important survival functions, specifically things like breathing. If you can't breathe very well out of your nose, your head automatically moves forward and tilts up, which opens up your nasal airways. However, when you do that, your head moves forward, and then you end up putting more strain in your lower back and other different joints down below. So no matter how much you stretch your lower back or other different joints there, if we have that issue with our breathing, we're going to end up going and putting ourselves back into this. So I'm not going to talk about the full assessment process of that today, but it's just something I want you to realize and think about. If you go out and you're doing a stretching routine and it's not quite working, there may be something going on a little bit higher up the chain, and that's what we want to be able to go and work on. So, but today also we're going to go and teach a little bit about, if we want to be able to go and stretch, how do we do it effectively and carefully and safely? So there's a few different types of stretches that and flexibility exercises that we're going to teach today. And learning about how your body works and which type of stretch is going to be most effective for the activity that you're about to be doing. So you might have heard of things like static stretches, right? So where I hold a position for 60 seconds or 90 seconds or a really long time. So if you're doing like yoga classes and you're holding poses for a significant period of time, those are what are called static stretches. There's also more active stretches or what are called contract relax stretches. These type of stretches are ones where you hold it for a short period of time and then relax, or perhaps go and do a contract against a resistance of some type. There's also utilizing foam rolling or other different forms of self-massage therapy. So if you've ever seen using foam rollers, or perhaps one of those new Theraguns, massage guns, things like that, those are meant to help improve flexibility as well. So I want to be able to incorporate some different ones to be able to go and say, all right, well, how can I go and organize this to be a little bit more effective? So right here, I've got a few different things here. I've got a small foam roller, and I've got a little bigger foam roller here. And I'm going to show a little bit of how we can be able to utilize these. So when it comes to being able to go and say, when do I use foam rollers versus other different forms of stretching, what we want to be able to go and work on is being able to go and say, when we utilize a foam roller, we want to be able to utilize a foam roller in a lighter fashion if we're going to do it right before some form of activity. So if you're about to play a sport, if you're about to go out for a jog or you're about to do a harder workout, you can utilize the foam roller to help warm up your muscles and work on some different postural issues that you may have. So I'm going to focus today on our hamstrings. All right, so I'm going to show exactly what you might do to be able to warm up the hamstrings. So now remember, whenever you're doing any stretching or exercise program, make sure that you do have your doctor's permission that you have, that you've spoken with your doctor on any possible limitations that you have. Because when you do stretching and manual therapy, there are certain risks for if you have, lots of blood clots or things like that. We want to make sure that you're not putting your body in any risk. So as always, make sure you get your doctor's okay to be starting an exercise program. So with all that said, we're going to start off with something that we can do before we go and work out. So if we go out and use our foam roll on our hamstrings, we're going to go ahead. We're going to sit down, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to roll back and forth on one hamstring just like this. Going back and forth like this is just meant to be able to warm the body up a little bit. Okay, it's not necessarily meant to be able to go and really improve long-term flexibility. That's for something different we're going to do in a second. So I'm going to go back and forth. I'm going to also go and externally rotate my leg. So I'm like turning my leg out or turning my leg in. And that way I can get to my hamstring here. Okay? So just like that, about rolling 6 to 8 times just to get that muscles warmed up. You may feel a little bit of soreness when you're doing this, maybe not too much, maybe like a 2 or 3 on a pain scale of 1 to 10 when it comes to how sore you are. Anything above that, it's going to go and create more inflammation and possibly go and decrease performance and increase pain. So that would be like a way to be able to warm up with a foam roll. If I was going to go and work on this perhaps maybe before bed, or I don't have a specific activity I'm doing right away, I can be able to go and maybe put some more weight into it, be able to go and work on spots where I just hold on a particular spot that may be a little bit sore, right? That way maybe I can get up to about a 3 or a 4 on that pain scale of 1 to 10. Something like that that can go and get rid of some more of those knots. So feeling like you're having a little bit more of a massage. And that way you can be able to go and improve some long-term flexibility there. So when you're going out, I can just hold that. Hold it on a sore spot for about 8 to 12 seconds. No longer than that. You don't need to go longer than that because that can go and increase the amount of inflammatory response that you get. So once you've gone through each of the different sections of the muscle, we can go as well to work on stretching the hamstring. So stretching the hamstring, there's a few different options. And this is why I like this little 2-inch foam roll here, is because the hamstring is a double jointed muscle, meaning that it crosses 2 joints. It crosses our hip joint and it crosses our knee joint. So by utilizing this, we can be able to go and stretch both sections of the top and the bottom of the hamstring. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay down on my back. I'm going to place this 2-inch foam roller under my spine here. Now remember, if you feel any pain or discomfort during this, don't hesitate to stop. You don't need to be working through pain. So as I lay down here, I'm going to lay one leg down. I'm going to bring my leg that I'm going to stretch up like this. And I'm going to go and start to straighten the knee right here. And so what I'm going to feel here is I should feel that stretch going through the entire belly of the hamstring. So if I want it to get it more up at the hip, I pull the knee a little closer, and then I'll feel that stretch a little lower down. If I want to go and feel it more behind my knee, up higher like this, I'll straighten the knee, I'll move the leg forward and then try to straighten the knee out, and that'll feel a little bit higher. So if we're doing this before an athletic event, for example, we want to go and do more of what's called a contract relax. So you don't want to go and do a static hold right before an event. So I'm going to just go and do 5-second, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and relax. And then again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and relax. Now, after that, I can be able to go, and if I wanted to go and do this as part of a nightly flexibility routine, or if perhaps I'm not doing an activity right away, that's when I can be able to do something like this and hold it for a minute plus and be able to hold this position for a lot longer period of time. And that's meant to really get that more permanent elongation of that muscle. that's where we can be able to go and have that. There you go. Sorry, that was on Instagram there. So that's where we can get more of that permanent elongation of the muscle. That's what we're looking for with those longer hold stretches. But we got to be able to make sure that we pick and choose which type of stretch and how we do it. That can make the most difference in being able to see the best results. So thank you so much for joining me today, and I look forward to seeing you all again soon. Hope you guys have a great weekend, and hope to see you all again soon. Thank you so much, and have a great day.